Yo, this is Dorky Diggity Dave, and today I'm here with my main man, John, up in the house. How you doing, bro?
Dude, I'm doing awesome. Excited to talk about some new characters and do some deep dives.
Yeah, man, we got a deep dive here on Sorcerer Supreme from Battleworld. Now, this is a mystic art style character, so like Doc Strange or Sim Supreme, she's got super heavy utility. She's got a lot of offensive and survivability. This is a Swiss Army knife right out of the gate.
Oh yeah, total jack of all trades, tons of counters to different abilities, kind of similar to like a Doc Ock type. Gonna be a little bit for you to learn here, but once you master her, she can just handle so many different things.
So why don't we just get right up into those abilities, find out a little bit more on this deep dive. Alright, so first things first, we have the signature ability that when she's at level 200, she gains 50% ability, accuracy, and the potency of her blessings are up at 33%. What do you think about the necessity? Is this like a must awaken, or is she still good as is unawakened?
Yeah, so it's not going to change any of her core kit. It's not going to change the way you play with her if you have the SIG or you don't, but it's going to help her prestige, and it's just going to make her better across the board. You can play her with it, you can play her without it, but if you have the option, definitely nicer to have it.
So jumping into her passives here, looks like she's another one with basic attacks that are energy damage. Go ahead and give me a little bit more about that.
We're releasing a lot more of these characters, so Sim Supreme is one, or OG Magneto. That basic hit energy damage is super nice. It's going to let you counter Psychic Thorns, going to let you counter Korg, and since she's a Mystic, she's going to destroy Captain Marvel. Each time Captain Marvel gets a binary charge for any of her hits, she's going to take some bonus damage. Super great counter.
Nice. And for those physically strong characters as well, you can just bypass that and go straight energy.
Yeah, exactly. Totally ignore it. You run into a node or a character that has tons of physical resist, don't care, you're doing all energy damage.
Nice. Now she does have a pretty fair amount of energy resist here, and that's really going to do a lot to mitigate damage, but she also has regen abilities, which we'll talk a little bit more about, which I really think puts her in a great position.
I totally agree. She's got a ton of ways to stay alive. That extra energy resistance is going to help her a ton against somebody like Terex, and those regen, she's going to stay topped up all the time.
Now, we did say that she was a lot like Doc Strange and Sim Supreme. Of course, she's a Mystic Arts champ, and but there are some differences, and I think these differences are absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, so she's actually going to be able to still gain power through the regular means. She gains less power than the average character, but it's still, you're going to see that bar move whenever you hit the opponent, whenever they hit you, whenever you block an attack. It's a lot nicer to play with. It's a lot more feedback for you.
This one's a little bit different because she goes straight out of the gate with that attack. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, for sure. So she's going to be super ready to scrap right away. As soon as you get into the fight, she's going to have her attack blessing. It's going to be super helpful for going through some easier content. You're immediately ready to just throw out a ton of damage at the opponent, and you're good to go.
That's so useful.
On top of, by default, starting with the attack mode, her pre-fight ability actually lets you choose one of the other blessings to go into at the start. So if you're in a really tough fight, you need her defensive mode, or you need to throw more special attacks in her power gain mode, you can choose that right away.
And you know what, the heavy attack I think is probably my favorite thing about this champion, because this gives you the ultimate control, and I will let you take this one away, man.
Yeah, her heavy attack, every time you hit the opponent with it, she's going to change her blessing to the next one in line. So this gives you total control as long as you can get those heavy attacks in to dictate what blessing you're in, and works with those runes as well.
Let's talk a little bit about her blessings. We start with Sidorak's Ferocity, which is the attack blessing, and this is giving her, you know, extra attack rating and crit damage. But tell me about Ragador's Resolve.
Yeah, this is her defensive blessing. It gives her additional armor, but it also gives her additional perfect block chance, and both of those are going to be increased by her SIG ability, so you can actually increase her perfect block to be pretty huge.
I love perfect block, and I don't think enough people realize that when you have perfect block, it increases your stun time, and this really opens the door for you to have 7-hit combos, which is absolutely game-changing.
It's super nice to have those extra couple hits in your combos, just really squeezing out as much time as you can, hitting the opponent where they're stunned, can give them less power, and they're not going to evade, so it's great for that situation. her last blessing is her power gain, so Icon's Ingenuity. She's going to steal 3% of the opponent's current power, and for whatever she steals, she times that by 3, so 150% of what the opponent has, she's going to gain that power back.
Nice. So keep in mind that this is power steal for 3% of the current bar, guys. So this means the more power the opponent has, the more you steal to multiply by 3, which is insane. You get some pretty crazy power gains off of this. You're gonna be pretty excited when you see it. Now, this brings us into one of her other things that makes her different from the other Mystic Arts champs, and that is runes, because these are tied directly to the blessings. Tell me a little bit about how these work.
Her runes are based off of which blessing she's in, and whenever you throw a special attack, she's going to store at least one of those runes. And each of these runes have different effects, and they'll be consumed when you throw a special attack.
So basically, if I have Sidorac's Fury and I launch a special 1, it's going to store 1 and use 1.
Exactly, yeah. So if you're in Sidorac's Fury and you throw an SP1, you're going to store 2 runes and then immediately consume one of them. It's going to put a huge armor break on the opponent. You already have the increased damage from your blessing, so something to keep in mind is the blessings and the runes are totally separate, but you can use both at the same time. Regidor's rune, for example, this one's one of my favorites. It gives you a passive regen for the next 12 seconds, but it also has an extra little bonus where each hit you block, 75% of that damage you block, you regen back. It's awesome.
I totally agree, totally agree. Alright, so Runes of Icon, this one is also a big champion killer here. Tell me a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so this is where a lot of her utility is going to come in. This is probably one of the best slows in the game. The way this works is just activating a special is going to put a huge duration slow on the opponent. 12 seconds slow whenever you activate a special when you have a Rune of Icon. It's awesome. Great for countering unstoppables like Champion. You'll probably even forget it's there. You can keep it up so often.
Alright, let's jump right on into the specials and see what we're dealing with there. Okay, so we talked about these runes dealing with the specials. So we kind of talked about the specials just a little bit, but let's kind of deep dive these a little bit more. Now, tell me about this SP1, because I'm really interested in that Nullify.
Yeah, so this is a totally new Nullify. So she gets a Nullify aura. And the way this works is when you first do the special attack, you nullify a buff, and then after that, she's going to have a aura similar to Mephisto or Omega Red or Arcus, where if you're standing near her, instead of taking damage or a different effect, she's going to nullify one of your buffs every 0.75 seconds. So
it's pretty quick, man. It's pretty nuts at the same time. It's a lot of fun to play with.
Oh yeah, it's great. All you got to do is stand beside them, and if you're running Mystic Dispersion, then you're gonna get even more power. Throw another special one, storing those runes with it. It's great.
Alright, so we've got the Special 2, which is beautiful, by the way, just like the SP1 is. Now, the SP2 pauses all of the runes for 5 seconds after use, but this one, it seems like this is a great chance to do some big yellow numbers.
This is going to be your big damage here, and the way this ability works too is your SP1, you're going to store 2 runes, and then you'll consume 1. This, you'll store 3 and then consume 1, and you'll consume 1 of each that you have. So you can get a situation where, let's say you have 1 of each and you throw a special 2 or a special 1, then you're going to have 1 of each of your abilities proc.
That's kind of like the golden pot right there, to have all of those proc at the same time, just so that you can maximize. Now, the SP3 seems to be the star here, because this one actually stores one of the runes permanently, right?
Oh yeah, so this is the way to go. Personally, I always try to rush to that SP3 and get it right away. The way it works is whatever blessing you're in, whenever you throw the special 3, instead of having that blessing consume, for the rest of the fight, you'll have a permanent one. So let's say you want a permanent armor break, so every time you throw a special attack, you'll always apply that armor break and it'll never get consumed. So if you want to keep regen the whole fight, if you want to keep slow the whole fight, choose which blessing you're in, which you can do with your heavy attack, and then throw the special 3 and you'll have that rune for the rest of the fight.
So, okay, after you've gotten that permanent rune off of the SP3, what happens if you launch the SP3 again?
If you launch the SP3 again and you are in the same blessing that you have the permanent rune for, you'll actually get 2 runes for whatever one you activated it. So you can never have 2 permanent ones, but you can choose whichever permanent one you want at any time, or you can use it to try and store more runes.
So, tell me about your favored or your favorite rotation to do with Sorcerer Supreme?
Yeah, so for me, honestly, it's super dependent on where I am and what I'm doing. She has so much utility in her kit. If I'm doing a lot of high tier content, if I'm going to, I'm pushing through 6.4, I'm trying to do anything that the opponent has a lot of chip damage, and I'm going to take a lot of damage, I like to rush to the SP3. I start the fight in the power gain mode. Sure, I don't get a ton of bonus power, but at least it's more. All I'm trying to do is rush to the SP3 as fast as I can, make sure that I'm in my defensive mode, my Regador mode when I throw the SP3, and then every special attack I use after that is going to give me that regen, and I want to have that for the rest of the fight. Once I do that, unless I'm fighting an opponent that has slow, all I try to do is just stay in my ferocity and just keep that bonus attack on me, keep putting those armor breaks on the opponent, and every special I'm going, I'm topping myself back up.
Nice. That's a great way to keep alive. I tend to move more towards the attack and just stack on a bunch of those Sidorax, and I will do a couple of the defensive just to get a little bit of regen in there, but I'm mainly on that damage, launching that SP2 and just getting a nasty amount of damage.
Yep, for sure. Once I get that first SP3 in, I'm just riding the SP2 all day.
Very, very nice. All right, well, why don't we hop on into our synergies, because we know that is such an amazing part of all these champions. Let's deep dive that. All right, so these synergies look very, very good. Now, we're not going to cover all of them. We're going to cover just some of the more notable ones, but if you see ones that you like, make sure you put that down in the comments below. Let us know which one is your favorite. But Storm X here allows for that easy bar of power, so if you're jumping in with icons, the power gain blessing, this is really going to take you to an SP2 or an SP3 very, very fast, because that extra bar is super helpful. What about you, John?
I really like her synergy with the other Sorcerer Supremes. So Doctor Strange and Symbiote Supreme, they're just going to give you a passive prowess whenever you use one of your blessings, and if you combine that with her bonus attack, it's just going to be tons of extra damage.
Now, that is actually very, very cool, because if we go outside of these synergies just for a moment, if you bring in Cap Infinity War and you bring in Doc Strange, which is already part of the synergy set, you're going to get that extra damage on Nullify. So if you've got a heavy buff champion and you're throwing that SP1 and just hanging out on that aura, just nullifying, that's a lot of extra damage.
Oh yeah, it's awesome, and it triggers off of Doctor Strange as well, so you're getting both of those synergies from just a 3-man team. Great utility for Alliance War or Alliance Quest if you need it, and she's just gonna shred Cosmics.
Very, very nice. Very beautiful. I'm very excited about this champ. So guys, once again, thank you for coming by and checking out the deep dive here. Today again was Sorcerer Supreme. What a fantastic champ. What do you think, John?
Oh man, she's great. She does so much. She's got so much in her kit. She can handle so many different situations. Really good generalist.
Yeah, personally, I think I'm super excited. I don't even have a pun for this one, so we're just gonna get on going. So I hope you guys liked the video, and if you did, go ahead and click subscribe, click like, and leave a comment. All that stuff is absolutely fantastic. And remember, stay dorky, and I'll catch y'all on the flip. Oh,
Potamus.